Why learning language in SLA is the antidote for obsession with errors, problems, and mistakes? Because it can be used to emphasize on development. If you believe in learner language, it means you believe number one, L2 is acquired in a systematic way and follows some universal patterns or rules. Nothing can alter the sequence of acquisition, including all kinds of instruction and teaching. Number two, instruction or teaching can only influence the pace or accuracy of acquisition. According to the theories and researches relevant to learner language, most of the so-called errors, problems, and mistakes can be placed or explained by one stage of development. Why development is so important? You may be wondering why being obsessed with errors, flaws, and problems is outdated. I can give you an endless list, but first and foremost, the worst thing about it is when you call something an error, a mistake, or a problem, you may mean that it should not exist. A teacher calls something an error when he or she assumes that the student should have learned and mastered something, and it is the responsibility of the previous teachers to deal with it. But what if the students have never learned such knowledge? See, obsession with errors, flaws, and problems means teachers may assume themselves to be bug fixers instead of capacity builders. Without doubt, some errors, flaws, and problems are like small bugs that just need some reminders, but some are not. L2 writing teachers and instructors need to reconceptualize errors, flaws, and problems as phenomenon of development and shoulder their responsibilities. They need to know how learner language is developed, what roles instruction play in L2, and that's why learner language is the antidote. Part 3. L2 writing researchers in China have yielded plenty fruits. Let's stand on the shoulders of giants to have a better view. L2 writing researchers in China have its traits. First, English is not a second but a foreign language in China. So the researchers mainly discuss English as a foreign language rather than a second language. Second, because many L2 writing researchers are also teachers or instructors, their studies are teaching instruction inclined. Third, the researches and studies are mostly limited to university context. L2 writing researches in high schools and middle schools are scarce, while elementary schools almost blank. This is the pie chart for L2 writing researches in China's L2 core journals from 1991 to 2008. It is obvious that L2 writing teaching and instruction is a very popular topic, accounting for 42% of all the L2 writing researches. On the other hand, L2 writing process and writing product researches catch the same amount of attention. Almost all of the researches are conducted in university context. These keywords include most of the writing researchers dealing with flaws, errors, and problems. Many scholars with great insights have changed their perspective. They regard problems in L2 writing as a sign of development. They try to explain them in SRA theories and bring fresh air into the classroom. The two keywords are L1 transfer and feedback mechanism. L1 transfer is a heated topic in China since 2006. Calling errors as errors cannot solve anything, so people try to figure out why. The most obvious factor is, of course, Chinese, the first language. It seems that many errors problems can find their root in L1, which is called negative transfer. For a very long time, talking about transfer means negative transfer. And talking about L1 participation, it means L1 interference. Then people realize that transfer can be positive. When positive transfer proves to exist, the question comes, is negative transfer always outnumber positive transfer? Scholars try to quantify and compare two kinds of transfer. It's like a war that never ends. However, Wen Qiufang and Wang Wenyu focus on in which aspects does L1 participate in L2 writing, and the relationship between L1 participation and L2 writing proficiency. As we can see in the line chart, basically, the participation of L1 declines as L2 proficiency increases throughout undergraduate years. The significance of this study is viewing L1 participation in L2 writing as a dynamic, predictable factor that should be valued instead of an obstacle to be got rid of. Later on, Wang Lifei and Wen Qiufang's findings supports the claim that L1 writing proficiency can be positively transferred to L2 writing in a more profound and deeper way than negative transfer. This is what happened in 2004. In 2015, Zhou Xu pointed out that L2 writing teachers and students' rejection of L1 participation is not proper. He suggests teachers make full use of their L1 as support stick for L2 writing. It seems that the L2 writing research field, the frontline findings have reached consensus that L1 participation in L2 writing is not a problem, and the so-called flaws, errors, and problems should be viewed as one stage of development. The validity of error correction practice in teaching has been undermined.